Poof, David Copperfield. Schlegel is back. It's a magic
Let's
trick.
go.
It's the podcast daily. It's Thursday, and Schlegel, he's not giving up on us, folks. He's back to talk to me yet again to talk about the Buckeyes. Get ready for Western Kentucky on Saturday, late afternoon, 4 o'clock kickoff.
Good.
Odd kickoff time. Are you fired up, Schlegel? Another one in on deck on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I'll be in the air, so we'll see what happens. Normally if I'm in the air and I'm flying back on Southwest or something like that, well, we're going to have some wild turkey on the plane. So I'll be tuning in, and the tweets could be coming at you hard and fast. They could be non-existent. We don't know. But I'm excited for it. I'm excited for this matchup for the Buckeyes. And I can't wait to see it go down in South Bend in 2 weeks.
I think at some point, Wild Turkey's just going to get wind that every week on the podcast daily, Schlegel is in here pumping it up. We got to get a deal. We got to get some NIL with Wild Turkey going.
No, it's okay. That wasn't a college thing, and that's all they serve on Southwest. You know what I mean? And again, it's not like, I'm flying today. It's going to be at noon. Well, if it was a noon Saturday, I probably would have one, but not today. So, it's one of those. It's a timing issue, right? Like I take a lot of flights back to Columbus from Jacksonville, and it's early in the morning. Guess what? Not then. The ones that I'm coming late back, potentially, if I have to drive home because my wife's exhausted and I don't get until 11 o'clock at night, then the answer is no, right? So you got to find that balance. But that being said, it is a good way to watch a game because it's just me and I'm just watching it on my little tablet or phone and I'm just tweeting at the same time. Like, let's go. Got to buy that $8 internet.
Is that a direct flight, Southwest?
Never.
No, okay.
Never. I connect Atlanta? All the time. ATL. Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, just one of the world's busiest airports. It's nothing.
You know what, though? Guess what? It's all good because I know at gate C21, there's a Chick-fil-A. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. There's always some there. The line is super long all the time. However, they get you in and out. And, who doesn't like Chick-fil-A in the airport?
All right. Well, that explains how Schlegel is going to watch the game on Saturday. Let's get into some of what has been going on with the Buckeyes. I have a crazy theory, Schlegel, and I want you to run with it. Okay. Ryan Day has decided to just treat Indiana and Youngstown State as a preseason NFL schedule. Okay. And he doesn't seem concerned about the scoreboard situation. He's been working through the clock issues. Maybe not thrilled with the offensive line or the third down conversions on offense or defense. He doesn't leave totally satisfied, but I don't feel like he's panicked at all. And he talked about this being a building process. So
yes.
Do you see any of that? Am I losing my mind?
No, you're not losing your mind. So here's the situation. I think you're absolutely right. That's a great theory. You don't really know what you have. You have three guys that you're replacing in the offensive line. You know exactly who you are at linebacker. You know who you are in the running back game. However, they all are different, right? How are we going to utilize Chip? Week one, everybody's talking about Chip being RB1. Again, I love Chip. I think he's fantastic. I think he's going to be like a Kyle Juszczyk. And I said that before anybody else said that because I could just tell like he was already gotten bigger, but he runs really good and he has mobility. And especially when they start putting him in the backfield and there was two running backs in the back, I think it was him and Mayan at one point. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be really, really good for them. It gives them another weapon because, again, the game of football is matchups and it's better athletes in space on lesser athletes. So I really like that aspect. But you have a quarterback situation that everybody in the room wasn't solely set that Kyle McCord was the guy coming out of camp. So tip of the hat to Devin Brown. You did some things in the offseason to get yourself an opportunity. Ultimately, Ryan's going to win the game, and he didn't feel comfortable giving Devin the reps. He wanted to get in a rhythm, and it's also about his play calling and what he likes. So everybody that's out there is, we should do this, we should do that. It doesn't matter what you think we should do. It's what Ryan feels comfortable and then doing. All right, so I completely agree that, and it's not just the first two, it's the first three, because you're going to see guys playing a little bit longer into this. And Western Kentucky gives you different challenges than an Indiana and a Youngstown State did. So we're going to continue to wrestle through these things and grow through this process. But what a great opportunity. Would we have liked to seen them come in and just do 63-7 like Penn State did to Delaware? Absolutely. Would we feel better? Sure. that doesn't mean that there still aren't things that even they have to get better at. So I love his approach, Austin, as to how he's taking it, because he doesn't give two craps what you or I or the fan base think. Win the game, 2-0. Let's go get 3-0, but let's continue to build and progress.
Yeah,
from week to week.
And I can hear and understand like the counter argument against this theory that.
Yeah,
well,
let's do it. What is the counter argument?
Well, I think that. Yeah, I mean, they're going to say that I've come up with a theory that excuses the first 2 weeks, that Ohio State didn't play with enough energy. You know, the play calling was too vanilla. And like, I would say that's fine to assess it that way if you want. I'm positing that it's just Ryan Day's approach. I think that's true.
That to me is what they do in the preseason.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. Hey, guys, listen up. So you got 12 regular season games. Is that correct, Austin?
That is correct.
Okay, so then you have a Big Ten championship game. That's 13, correct?
That's 13, yes.
Then you have a semifinal. That's 14, correct?
I'm with you, yep.
Then you have 15. So you just play 3 preseason games and you got a 12-game season, in essence, is what we're talking about. Right. So, and I heard DeVere Prosy talk about this too, and you're like, well, they should just let them run with it, right? Like, you're not going to give your keys to your car to your kids and just let them drive to Cleveland. Though I did that. I remember – oh, snap, man. I mean, when I was like 15, 14 years old, my kids are like, Dad, I'm 16. Like, why can't you let me drive 45 minutes? You did that. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I did that. But my parents didn't care. And I was a way better driver than you. You know, I had at least enough wherewithal that I knew that a hub lane was a high occupancy and there's less traffic in that lane. So I would bring an extra jacket and a hat and I would lean over in my parents' minivan because I had to drive an hour from DeSoto to Irving, so I go to wrestling practice. I'm just sitting there, just driving, man, just cruising. Nobody like, what's up, bro? I'm just going. You know what I mean? But guess what? Less traffic in that hub lane, so I was being safe. I don't believe them. I don't trust them enough. So here's the thing. Who cares if you trust him or not? He's like, this is what we're going to run. Let's execute what we run. If we want to bring things out later, we'll bring things out later. That's why I get probably so upset with the defense. Like, why can't we just bring 4?
Right.
You saw Texas. Texas got after Alabama up front. And I agree with people. The reason we didn't do some of the certain things we did is where's the juice? I said it, man. No Cialis for you. Every time you step on the field, you should be up for that game because of all the work that you and your teammates did for it.
Yeah.
Not just you're in the shoot. There's only a finite amount of times. You only have 5 games left in that awesome stadium this year to perform. So why not go out?
Yeah, I think that's the balance, Schlegs. That's why, like, if you've decided as Ryan Day at the head of the program to say, well, we're going to ease into the season and slow build to get ready for Notre Dame and South Bend, like, you can say on the one hand, that's a fine and reasonable approach over the length of the season. And the counter is what you're saying. Well, these guys work all off season for the first week or the home opener against Youngstown State. Like, cut it loose and let them go. I think that's the push and pull, right?
I know it's not. It's not. Because you can separate the two. You can go really hard and play bait. I'd be like, give me field 8 all day and let's just play it.
Yeah. And
I can still play with an attitude and intensity and take your manhood without having to bring pressure. That's a fact. Okay. It's how you play the game, not what's called. Players execute. So honestly, and you guys know this better than I do. Well, not better than I do because it's what I do. I don't ever get on players, okay? I get on coaches because you're an educator, you're a teacher, you're the motivator. And then you get on leadership.
Yeah.
So why aren't guys up? Well, they're not up because they're not dialing them up. You're always dialed up because you always have a job to do. So you should always be on tilt.
Yeah.
Do you guys understand that? So it's not about always being conservative, and that's why we're playing this way.
Okay.
You play the game of football violently. I was talking to a bunch of junior high kids. Let me tell you something. Defense is not rocket science, okay, Austin? I'm going to bring it down for you. Okay, junior high football. We're slanting and angling so we can be violent and penetrate to clean it up for the linebackers so they can be violent and accelerate eyes through the thigh to make a tackle. That's it. That's it. Guess what? If you got kids, we had a kid named Angel. Boom, send me an Angel. He loved it. I was like, dude, you need to tell your parents, go download this 80s song. Send me an Angel. That's you. He played right outside linebacker last week, first game. It was like, I can't even describe it. Everything he did in practice, I don't know. He hesitated. It froze. It paralyzed him. Now, guess what? You play right defensive end. You have one job. You accelerate as fast and as violent as you possibly can on that dude's outside shoulder. That's all you got. You have the green light. Like, I'm not going to change you. You will never do anything different. You will do that until I teach you something different.
Yeah.
And just go. And guess what? The kid just went. And we're at practice. Guess what, guys? That's football. That's sports. It doesn't come from your head coach. We played with a lot of juice and intensity. Does Jim Tressel look like he has a lot of juice and intensity when he's on the field? I'm just asking for a friend.
No, I never really felt that.
You see him just like, oh my gosh, look at that guy. No, man. Absolutely not.
Not with the sweater vest and the rolled up script. No,
he was passionate. He was fired up, man. But we love playing the game. On defense, again, mind you guys, I'm not pissed off. We've given up 10 points in 2 weeks. Just go back a couple years and think about the dog crap that was there in 16, 17, 18. Okay? Like, remember that?
I do remember it. Yes.
Trash. It was terrible. All right. So, giving up 10 points. You've given up 153 yards. I think they had like 220. Okay? Great. All right. But the thing is this, when you play defense, our job is to go 3 and out every single time, regardless of what's called. Our job is to go make tackles. That's it. Our job is to go stop them so we can give our offense the ball. And you don't need any type of excitement to do that. You don't need any type of exotic calls to go do that. Just freaking go do that. All right? And I will be honest with you, in our thing, 5-star dudes have to start playing like 5-star dudes. I expect them to affect the quarterback. I think they only had 20 passes versus Youngstown State, so let's not kid ourselves, right? They're not getting a ton of opportunities to do so, but I expect to see some, all right? And also, Youngstown State had the ball for 8 more minutes, so they're rushing the football, which means, guess what? When you actually are a free hitter, you have to make the tackle in the backfield. If the ball is 3rd and medium, 3rd and short, you have to make the play to where it's 4th down. Like, they can only do so much.
Yeah.
And that affects the offense, guys. And that's why we only had 9 possessions. And then you think about offensively, Austin, Chip's block, they came back and said, that should not have been a call. All right, thank you. 2 weeks in a row of that. The PI call in the end zone for Marvin, that's another one. I'm not making excuses, and I'm not one to say, I say it as it is, right? Yeah. That should have been a touchdown. That should have been a touchdown. Also, hey, guess what? Offensive line, 3rd and short, 3rd and goal, holding, drive killers. You can't do it with the way teams are playing us. So now there's just more of an emphasis on the attention of details and not being lazy and using your hands and using your footwork. So it all is going to come into play. But good things to build upon, Austin.
Yeah, well, and they will, I think, if my theory is correct, and they start, unleashing the full playbook and getting juiced up for better opponents, like you'd expect that to come. Were there things that you saw last week that you were encouraged by, Schlegs?
Yeah, I mean, I was encouraged by our non-boundary 3rd and short running. All right, it's terrible, and I understand the numbers. The hashes are a toss sweep into the boundaries, not very good. You also got to know, like, what is your offensive line really good at, right? So I think more of the stretch zone, when we run to the wide side of the field, our running backs are more elusive, right? Mayan's not an outside toss guy. He's an inside zone guy. When our running backs put their foot in the ground and get vertical through seams that our offensive line can create, not huge gap, like gaping seams, because they're still struggling of the B block from a double team up to the second level. But I like the way that they're running. I love our running back room. I love the fact that we started utilizing our running backs out of the backfield in the passing game. I like the fact that we went for it on 4th down and we threw the football, because that's kind of that's who we are a little bit, guys. We're a vertical passing team. So you might see a 3rd and short or a 2nd and short or whatever. Not a 2nd and short. They'll probably go over the top with that one. But you'll see some of those quicker passes. I would like to see more screens from the wide receiver, not the bubble screen because we block like the shit. But I would like to see maybe a tunnel or something different, tight end screen. I think that really sets it up. You might have to utilize some of those things. Thought it was great that we got Emeka and Marvin in the game with 3 touchdowns. Could have been significantly more. That was encouraging. Seeing some of our depth in C.J. Hicks and Cody Simon at the linebacker position, really good. Denzel Burke playing like a dude, first cornerback to get a pick in 2 years.
Yep.
Right? I think our other guys are going to get a lot on that side. If I believe it's Henderson and Igbenusum.
Davison Igbinosun and Jordan Hancock that was out there playing some nickel.
That's it. Seven.
Yep.
Right? I think Sonny Styles, we're going to blitz somebody. I would like to see him blitz a little bit more. But the thing is this, guys, we have dudes, man. We have dudes. And that's encouraging to see. It's also encouraging to see a Styles and a Ballard being on kickoff return and punt return. Punt. Like going down and making plays. I enjoy watching that because you have to be able to add value whenever called upon, right? Because you're a dude, man. Like you're a 5-star guy, you're a 4-star. It doesn't matter. I don't care about stars, but you're just a football player. Remember that. So those are a lot of encouraging things that I saw in this game, and I think that they're only going to get better.
All right, so if you take the first 2 weeks, and you mentioned the defensive line getting pressure with 4, is that the thing that you were? I don't want to say concerned. I don't what your panic level would be. It may be none. I didn't think you had one, but
now I have juice and inflection in my voice, and you also got to know it's Thursday, so I just got done, juicing up.
We like to
training my face off.
We like to wink. They know that the podcast daily is filmed a day in advance, so we.
All right. Well, anyways, you guys know I'm juiced out of my mind because I was training high school kids and I was melting their faces off with positive juice and energy.
Yeah.
So I'm always gas station ready. But yeah, keep going with your question.
But so is that number one on the to-do list? Like getting pressure with that front 4? Is that?
No. Number 1 to-do list is Kyle McCord comfortable running the show. See, like here's the thing. And I have no problem you waiting because everything is earned, nothing is given. All right. I don't give 2 craps that you're Marvin Harrison's teammate and you guys won 3 state championships. So what have you done for me lately? So go out there and take it. And you know what? You didn't take it during camp and they probably gave you ample opportunities. All right. But you took it in the first 2 weeks. So now it's your team. We've gotten that aside. I dealt with it. Trevor Lawrence in camp. Gardner Minshew was an alpha, had more of a bravado, more of a presence. Probably what I've been hearing from Devin. He's a little bit louder type of guy. Kyle's a little bit more reserved. But when they traded him, he was like, you're the starter. It was his team. It was completely different. And it was just authentically him. He didn't really change, but just kind of the presence changed a little bit. Okay. So I think that's good. I want to see him dial it up. I want to see him make the throws. I saw him make the progressions. He made the progression. Marvin was his 3rd progression. He went from left to right, hit him in the chest. Marvin dropped it. First and probably ever drop of his life. So that's the number 1 thing. Get him comfortable, dialed into this offense so that Coach Day, as he's calling this game, has a rhythm as to what he really likes and how he feels when he goes into the Notre Dame week. That's number 1. Awesome. Okay. Number 2, I'm still going to say it. It's our offensive line. 121 yards, 107. I forget what the numbers were from the previous games. What were they? I think I was right.
Last week, they ran for 123.
Okay, the week before was what?
I think you hit it.
Something like that. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway,
not enough for an Ohio State offense.
Not enough for us to be like, all right, and everybody that's thinking that, hey, we run first and pass second. That's not accurate, man. We pass first. And that's okay because you like it when Ryan's the number 1 offense in the country. So stop it. All right. And guess what? The points aren't necessarily going to be there when you only have 9 possessions and you only got the ball for 26 minutes and Youngstown State had it for 34. That's just the nature of the deal. So how do you flip that script? You get off the field, Coach Knowles, and that's what you do, right? And how do you do that? Your defensive line, your linebackers, fundamental defense, right? So I would say this. I want to see the offensive line continue to grow. You're gonna come against a Western Kentucky team that's going to be blitzing a lot of dudes. their leading sack person is a DB. Leading tackler, a DB, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's Simpkins. He has 3 sacks on the year. They have 6 sacks as a team. I think we have 2 total.
Yeah.
We didn't have any in the first game.
No.
And Tommy and Mike Hall got a sack in the second game.
I think
so
they
WKU got more sacks than us.
Yeah. Hero Canoe was credited with one like the fourth quarter at the end of the game, but your point is still valid.
Okay, 6-3, they got double the solo sacks. All right. Yeah. So you got a team that's literally rushed the ball for 122 yards in 2 games. They're not rushing the ball. They're throwing the ball. But how are they going to throw the ball? It's going to get out of their hands quick. So you got to get your hands up, right? You got to get them into 3rd and long. Okay, 3rd and long means they're going to have to take a little bit more time. That's when the pressure can happen. If you get them into 2nd and short, 3rd and short, you're going to have a hard time getting off the field, a.k.a. getting pressure. So guess what, guys? Down and distance predicates what they want to do. Eliminate that by getting them to 3rd and long and eliminate 70% of the playbook, okay? That's how you help the defensive stats and the defensive lineman be able to start affecting the quarterback. But those are the 3 things to me. You know, what's your take? What are your 3 things?
I think to me, it starts with those front 4 you alluded to, Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau. Like you may not care about stars, but these were 2 of the most heavily recruited defensive ends in the country.
Yeah.
I expected to see them win more one-on-one matchups because I think that they had a fair number of them against Youngstown State. They should
win those.
They should be impacting the quarterback more.
Right.
And you look at like the opening drive, they had the 3 third downs that Youngstown State converted going down the field, and Jim Knowles was bringing more blitz pressure, including 7 on a 3rd and 4 down there in the red zone. I don't think that should have to happen against Youngstown State. I asked Jim Knowles about that on Tuesday.
What did he say to you?
I said, did you wind up blitzing more than you thought you were going to have to against Youngstown State? And he kind of paused for about 5 seconds before answering the question. And I think it's because like they don't want to blame the defensive line. They don't want to blame Larry Johnson. And that's fine. I'm okay with that in a press conference setting, but like actually taking 5 seconds to answer gave me the answer. Yes, they had to blitz 100%. More than they wanted to. So like, I think that has to happen.
Good for you. Good for you for asking that question. And the follow-up question is like, how do you help your D-line get more pressure, Jim?
Yeah.
And it's probably better coverage, which means zone, like shut down the windows.
Right.
When you play man and the guy reads man because you got single high, then it's like, okay, I can wait. Boom, I'm going to hit this on a timing. But it's like, all of a sudden, I got a linebacker that popped in there to curl a flat under the hook curl player, and he took away the weakness where we got a reroute, and we were being really aggressive off the ball and disrupted some timing. That allows some of our guys to get home.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? I'm just saying, so good question for you. To you,
I love it.
For asking that.
I love it. And it's the same as what you were saying earlier. It doesn't mean that I have given up or am panicking that they can't do it because, again, those are really freaky athletes in Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau and Mike Hall on the inside. Like, I think they can do it. I just, I wonder why the ramp up has taken time. Maybe they're not that concerned about it against Youngstown State, which would be odd. As you said, the other part is, hey, you are in the horseshoe and Waffle House is open. So like, go get nasty and go win. So I want to see that. I think Western Kentucky's going to throw it 40, 50 times, as many times as they can. That's going to be a lot of pass rush snaps. So maybe we'll get a better feel for that on Saturday. And then the flip side of that, offensively, I wonder if narrowing the focus and giving Kyle McCord all the reps, giving the rest of the other 10 guys on offense, like you don't have to
all the reps.
Yeah, there's not going to be any more of this, quarterback counter and quarterback power when Devin Brown comes in. Like, hey, you don't have to worry about that stuff. And I don't know how big of a deal that is to add to the playbook and the responsibilities every week. Maybe it's not at all, but I think that from building chemistry and continuity on offense, letting Kyle McCord take the reps in practice, take the reps in the game, and maybe getting rid of the fear of mistakes and you're going to get pulled or any of that. I'd like to see what that means for him on Saturday afternoon as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. My notes, he has to play at least 3 quarters. Hopefully the score is out of reach. And if it's not, even if it's 35-7, better play the 4th quarter. I'm telling you right now, I don't care. He needs the reps. He needs the live bullets. He needs to see it. Now Marvin doesn't need to necessarily be in there. Jackson,
Sure.
Emeka doesn't necessarily need to be in there. K doesn't necessarily need to be, but your other guys need to be in there because you're still running the offense, you're still running the time, and you're going to need those guys anyways, but he needs the reps.
Yeah.
So to me, this game is the last tune-up before the season starts.
Right.
All right, so I agree with you, man.
I love it. It makes me feel smart when you agree with me, Schlegs, but I also like to learn. So if you disagree,
you are smart. And you know what? A lot of this is common sense as well. I like to take the fan approach. I'm with you guys, man. I get impatient. I'm like, what the Sam Dickens are we calling? Just throw the ball to Marvin. I totally get that offensive,
that's what I would do too. Yeah,
coordinator,
if it was
insight that everybody has. But I will say this: the things that you got to look for this week is, can our guys pick up the blitz? Because we had some free runners in the Indiana game. Okay, not necessarily so much in the Youngstown State game, but can we pick up the blitzes? And can we get hat for a hat in the run game and get to the second level to create some seams for our guys? I would like to see that. All right, because you also got to remember Western Kentucky is probably pretty decent against the pass because all they do in practice is go against the pass.
Right.
So is this a game that we can really start to impose our will? Because I'm telling you guys right now, Notre Dame's offensive line is very good. And I think they play very fundamentally sound defense. Mm-hmm. And it's whoever wins that game is going to be the team that dominates up front.
Right.
So I would like to see us have some momentum on both sides of the ball going into that game. But the most important thing is that Kyle McCord and Ryan Day are on the same page, and Ryan is comfortable calling the game that Ryan wants to call. And he should be calling them because A, he's the head coach, B, he's a phenomenal play caller, and C, he doesn't want to let it go.
Right. All right. So who's going to build that momentum? Schlegs, give me three difference makers.
Kyle McCord.
Yep.
Simmons better be a freaking difference maker.
Yep.
Okay. And I want to see Sonny Styles be a difference maker because, again, we blitz a lot in the middle with our mics and stuff. Now, again, the fastest way of getting there is through a mic, but I would like to see how sometimes they could bring him off the edge. We used to have a call. I forget. It was like Florida Magic or Florida Tulsa. Like we ran all sorts of crazy stuff. Alaska Magic, Bama, Florida. And that was just basic, but that'd be the same as a nickel coming off the edge out of that package. So I would like to see how we could bring if we're going to bring something from the perimeter, because we haven't really done a lot of that. We haven't had a safety down blitz. I'm just letting you guys, all the blitzing I've seen has all been very up front in the middle with the linebackers, as opposed to, are you going to bring a safety, or are you going to bring a corner, or are we going to bring a nickel? Yeah. So if you are going to blitz, I would just like to, and maybe they don't want to show that, or maybe they do. I don't know. I'm not really into that game. I'm really more into the game that we got better people, and we're just going to allow them to fly around and smash your face in. That's kind of how I like it.
Well, the next opportunity for that, Schlegs, is Saturday at 4:00. You will be tuned in from 35,000 feet.
35,000, baby.
With a wild turkey or maybe two in hand.
Double. You guys got to do that. You get to get the group the coupons, Do
you just bring a cup of ice? Do you get a Coke
No,
Zero
man, they're super nice, man. Listen, I'm an adult. I'm 42 years old. I'm just gonna have a cocktail while I watch the Buckeye game. You know what I mean?
I know. I'm asking if it's wild turkey on ice, or if you want a little.
Man, you got to have it on ice. No, absolutely not. I like it on ice. I like all bourbon or whiskey on ice. It's okay. All right. I don't like iced coffee though. I do not like iced coffee. It can be 5:00 in the afternoon. It's hot for me. Can't do it. Can't do iced coffee.
You run hot.
I do Monster.
If you're going cold, it's Monster.
Yes.
If it's hot, it's coffee.
Yes.
If it's Saturday, it's wild turkey on a plane.
No, well, see, that's 101. That's all they offer. I'm a Buffalo Trace guy. I'm a Sazerac guy. I like Buffalo Trace. Bobby's favorite is Eagle Rare. My favorite is the Colonel Taylor, E.H. Taylor. So I don't want you to get confused with that. That's why I push back.
I said on the plane.
I want to do an NIL deal with Wild Turkey. Now, Wild Turkey 101 back in college, I'd make it bubble. But I'm not. We're pumping the brakes on this now. We utilize the bourbon and the whiskey on a weekend, as like my dessert because, you know, I'm still trying to keep it sexy. Extra tough style. Okay.
Understandable. I got you. I'm on the same page.
Good. You're on the same diet. All right. I like it.
No. I didn't say that, but I should be, because if I could look like that, that's a better choice than
that's just heavy doses of iron, my friend. That's just,
right.
You got to feed yourself.
You're right. I will. I'll get you back up. Get you back up here, and you'll get me in the shop.
All right, buddy.
I'll hit the difference pad with you. All right. We've jumped off the rails, as Schlegs and I are prone to do at the end of a show.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us on the podcast daily for Thursday. Thanks to the difference, and thanks to that man right over there, Anthony Schlegel. For Schlegs, I am Austin. We will talk to you later.